All right, this is Rudy, and it's August the 4th, 2015. We have various testimonials that came in today from Sean Stuller, and I read them as best as I can. Sometimes the writing is hard to read, but I'll do the best that I can. The first one is from Stephen Rafferty, and Mr. Rafferty, if you ever hear of this video or view it when you get out of jail and you want me to take down the video, that is your call. I always try to say that at the beginning because we want to follow your wishes, and it's my understanding you do want these testimonies read into the public YouTube. All right, here we go. My name is Stephen Rafferty, and I really do not know where to begin, so I will give you the short version. I had went through a lot of things in my youth that made me bitter and hard. By the time I was 10.5 years old, I had ran away repeatedly and was gone for good. When I was 11 years old, I was shot in the back of my head when I was making a drug deal. Needless to say, I lived. I did not go to the hospital because I was wanted by the law. I had my girlfriend dig the slug out and patch me up. You have to understand, I always dated older girls that had their own place and a car. I looked older than I was, so I was able to get into bars and drink. When the law finally caught me, I was facing a lot of time locked up. I spent 5 years altogether before I was 17 years old. When I got out of lockup, I was on adult parole at 16.5 years old. I moved back to Ohio and met my first wife, and my first son was born when I was 17 years old, July 31st, 1980. I was doing good, working and doing the right thing. Then on July the 4th, maybe July the 9th, it's hard to tell. On July the 4th, 1981, I went out and got drunk and wrecked my father-in-law's truck and about killed my brother, my best friend's sister, who only asked for a ride to town, and myself. I rolled the truck going 100 miles per hour on the first roll. It slammed me out on the road and flipped me back in front of it every time it rolled, which was 5 times. We were all seriously hurt. It crushed my neck, back, shoulder, pelvis, and all my ribs of my spine. They said I would never walk again. Well, that didn't work for me. I had a son under a year old and another son to be born July the 23rd, 1981. So to make a long story short, I was back to work within 6 months, but I had to take pain pills every day. So I started selling some of them to make ends meet for my family. Well, before I knew it, I was back to selling any drug that anyone wanted, and I did this from 17 to 40 years old. I got away with it all the time, but at the same time, I had to conduct myself a certain way. It was business to me, so if someone tried to cheat me out of money, I had to deal with it, which meant kicking doors in and beating up whoever got in my way to get to who I was after. Well, by doing this, it got me shot 3 more times and stabbed more times than I can count. I was always going to jail for a felony assault with a weapon, but no one would testify against me, so it was always dropped. I did these kinds of things my whole life and lived through it. Then in 1998, I came down with a rare disease that ate out all of my sinus cavity and a hole through the roof of my mouth. I was on a ventilator for 7 weeks. I went from 175 of muscle to 97 pounds. When I got out during my time on life support, the doctors told my wife they were giving me a 2% chance to live, so she could have some hope, but said I was going to die. That said, it might be today, tomorrow, or in a week, but I was a dead man, just didn't know it yet. Well, needless to say, I lived, so I can only say it was by the grace of God. He has me here on this earth for a reason. He knows what it is, but he lets me go through these trials till I get it all figured out for myself. So yes, I believe in God. And that's the testimony from Stephen Rafferty.